welcome back. This is Wargamer Sean, and we are continuing our review of the new Space Marines Codex, Part 6, which is the heavy support choices. The next part will be go through all the formations and the final thoughts. So let's get to it. We've got the Devastator Squad as the first one, and that comes with, for 70 points, 4 Space Marines, 1 Space Marine Sergeant. You can take a Veteran Sergeant for 10 points. You may get a Cherub, Armorium Cherub for 5 points. So it's basically kind of like a armor, or like a grot, an Oiler grot, where you can like re-roll, or not an Oiler, an ammo runt where you, for orcs, where you can re-roll to hit once per game. So 5 points for 1 twin linked is not bad, especially during that crucial time. They come with bolt pistol, bolt gun, frag grenades, signum for the sergeant, and they shall know no fear, chapter tactics, combat squads. You basically can put or take up to 4 guys. I'm just trying to make sure. Yep, 4 Space Marines from heavy weapons. The sergeant can take items from melee or ranged weapons. They can take a drop pod, rhino, razorback, as a designated transport. So they're still a solid choice. I think you'll still see them now. You can take grav cannons now, so I think you'll see them more often. The sucky thing is the box only comes with 1 of each of the heavy weapons, which is a little disappointing because some of the newer kits have been coming with more than 1 weapon. So it's too bad, because that's about the only way you're going to get the heavy grav cannon, is buying multiple kits or going on places like eBay and buying bits that people break down, which GW doesn't really want you to do anymore. The next heavy support choice is a Centurion Devastator Squad. It's 165 points. You get 2 Centurions and 1 Centurion Sergeant. You can get a Veteran Sergeant for 10 points. You don't have to, which I don't think you really want to. I mean, he comes with an extra attack, and he's 1 more leadership higher, but most of the time these guys are going to be with somebody. They have Decimator protocols. A model with a special rule can fire up to 2 weapons in the shooting phase. They're slow and purposeful. They're very bulky. They shall know no fear. Twin-linked heavy bolters and hurricane bolters is what they come with. Although most people are going to spend the points to get the grav cannon and grav amp for 25 points a model, or twin-linked las cannon for 20 or 15 points a model. The sergeant may take an omniscope for 10 points, and the model may replace his hurricane bolter with a missile launcher for 10 points apiece. I think most people are going to be using the grav and the grav amp. Obviously, las cannons aren't a bad choice either, and it may be even a little bit better than Devastator Squad, but they're certainly more expensive. They did get a little bit cheaper because you don't have to buy the Veteran Sergeant, which I don't think most people are going to. They got a little bit cheaper, but the grav weapons got a little bit more expensive, so they kind of work out to be about the same price. They're a solid choice. I mean, you saw them ever since 6th edition Codex Space Marines came out with this model. They were new in 6th edition, and they've been a great choice since, much more than their close combat counterparts. And I think that's mainly because they made the close combat counterparts better, and we talked about them already in the Elite section, but it just, Assault isn't as good in 6th and 7th edition as it has been in previous ones. So I think you're going to see Grav Centurions a lot. Certainly the Devastator Centurions, although most of the time I think they're going to be Grav. Sometimes I see people doing Grav Centurions, and they'll have the Sergeant with a las cannon, which you can do, I think. But I think for the most part, people are going to be using the Grav. The next heavy support is the Thunderfire Cannons. They're 100 points. They come with 1 Thunderfire Cannon and 1 Tech Marine Gunner. So it's artillery, so the Thunderfire Cannon is toughness 7, 2 wounds, 3 up save. The Tech Marine comes with frag grenades, crack grenades, bolt pistol, servo harness. They shall know no fear. Blessing on the Saya, bolster defenses, chapter tactics. So your Tech Marine can bolster defenses. If now this is something new this time. You can add up to 2 more Thunderfire cannons, each with a Tech Marine Gunner for 100 points a model. So you can have a unit now that has 3 Thunderfire cannons in it, which is pretty devastating. If the unit includes 3 Thunderfire cannons and all Tech Marine Gunners in the unit, you have +1 ballistic skill. Now, he already is ballistic skill 5, so if you have +1, it's going to be 6. That's good for anything that scatters, and these are all barrage. The cool thing is when you have a whole group of 3, all of those barrage scatter off the first, template or a blast template placement. So that's important to have a good ballistic skill to make sure that you try to stay, because basically if you're ballistic skill 6, the worst you're ever going to do is 6 inches away, because you've basically got 6-inch where you can play with a BS6. It's a small blast, so it can scatter off target, although you can bounce it back your way with the arrows. So place your first one and see, you can walk things off of that if you can. So I think this is a solid unit. I think it got more solid. Will you see units of 3? I think maybe, although I think it's still going to be popular to have 2 units of 1 or 3 units of 1. Probably just more 2 units of 1 or 2 units of 1. So I don't know if it's a game changer. It certainly does help a unit of combined, especially if you're playing some tournaments will run Highlander style where you can only take 1 unit of anything except for troops. So this is a way to get more Thunderfire cannons in there with being restricted to 1 slot. But for the most part, and in the day and age where some tournaments, my local group, we tend to run unrestricted amounts of detachment or formations. So really, you can do as many as you want, so it doesn't really hurt. You can have more than 1 Thunderfire cannon and not have to worry about eating up too many heavy weapon slots. So it depends on your local meta too, honestly. I mean, if heavy support is like really a tight thing for you and you want to fit a lot of heavy support in there, then it's a way to add more Thunderfire cannons. So Predators are the next one. They also can be taken now into squadrons. So you can take up to 2 additional Predators, 75 points apiece. They come with an autocannon, searchlight, and smoke launchers. While this unit has 3 Predators, all Predators in the unit have Monster Hunter and Tank Hunter special rule. So you have to have all 3 to have that rule, which is a nice special rule, but 3 of them, and most of the time you don't just leave them with an autocannon. You usually end up taking either the 2 side spawns and heavy bolters, which are 20 points, or las cannons for 40 points, and replacing the top one with a twin link las cannon for 25 points. So then you're weighing in at each tank is 140 points. 3 of those gets a little pricey. You can take items from the Space Marine vehicle equipment list. This is a cool tank. It's been a cool tank. It's just ever since even like about 5th edition, it just hasn't been that great. So I don't think you see it that often. But I still like the tank. I just was hoping it would get a little better. Whirlwinds are still a good choice. They're 65 points. They come with a Whirlwind multiple missile launcher, searchlight smoke launchers. They're 11, 11, 10. And sorry, I apologize. I didn't say the Predators are 13, 11, 10, and 3 hull points each. Same thing. The Whirlwind's 3 hull points. You can take a squadron of 3 now, and while the 3 Whirlwinds are alive, the Whirlwind multiple missile launcher has the pinning and shred rules, regardless of which missile type you take. So that's kind of a cool thing. I think out of all of the squadrons of vehicles, I think you're more likely to see a Whirlwind squadron just because they're pretty cheap tanks, and having 3 of them, 195 points, not that expensive to have 3 of them. So I think you might see them, and they're only taking up 1 slot. So I think you might see them. Vindicators are 13, 10, 13 front armor, side armor, 11 rear armor, 10, 3 hull points. They have Demolisher cannon, searchlight, smoke launchers. You can get the siege shield for 10 points, although you can for 5 points just get a ram. Excuse me. Why am I blanking in? What the heck? Blah blah blah. Apologize, guys. If I could remember anything here. I've been playing for a long time and I can't remember what I'm just blanking on what they are. Dozer Blade. Sorry, guys. For 5 points, which is a little cheaper, so I might just go with that. But the Siege Shield just kind of ignores difficult and dangerous terrain, so you don't have to roll for it. Let's see. It doesn't. All right. So if you have 3 of them, they can fire their Vindicators. They can fire their Demolisher cannons. The squadron can fire a single line breaker bombardment instead of firing normally. To do so, nominate a model in the squadron as a firer. The firer's Demolisher cannon changes from large blast to apocalyptic blast and gains the ignore cover special rule. That's pretty dang good. Although once again, I don't know if you're going to see 3 of them, and that's, you know, it's expensive. As if you're putting the Siege Shield, or even if let's say you're putting the Dozer Blade, which is so it's 125 points. Let's say 130 if you want to put an extra Storm Bolter on there to kind of protect your main cannon from getting gunned off. So let's say 130 points. It's going to be 390 points for 3 squadron. It's kind of a pricey thing to use. The next heavy support is a Hunter, and that is front and side armor 12, rear armor 10, 3 hull points plus skill 4, 70 points. It has a Sky Spear missile launcher, smoke launchers, searchlight. If you can have up to 2 more, so you can squadron. And if it includes 3 hunters, each model with a Sky Spear missile can reroll the dice when resolving its Savant Lock special rule. And the Savant Lock is after if it misses, the missile can try to come back and hit again. So, in the next shooting phase. So, you may see this one squadron. I mean, it's 5 points more than a Whirlwind, but I don't know. Honestly, I think we'll get to the formations, but the formation may be better, and the Stalkers I think are a little better. Stalkers are 75 points. They have an Icarus Storm Cannon array, Searchlight smoke launchers. They're Bliss skill 4, front side armor 12, rear armor 10, 3 hull points. While this unit has 3 Stalkers, each model's Icarus Storm Cannon array ignores cover special rule. That's pretty dang good, especially with, like, let's say Bellicor, or let's say Nurgle Flying Demon Princes. Ignoring cover is pretty good because they can't jank. And being an Icarus Lascon, you're going to ignore their armor, so they're maybe going to get an invuln save. It's going to be good against flying, Tyranids too. So this one you may see 3 of just because of its special rule. Although the problem is right now, it depends on what your local meta has, and it really depends on what your local playing group, what you're seeing. But in my local playing group, when Tau came out, they pretty much kind of ruined flyers. People were kind of scared to bring flyers for a while because so much of their stuff was able to just take out flyers fairly easily. And so since Tau have been around, we haven't seen as many flyers just because the Tau can handle them usually, and so people are scared to invest points in flyers. So if you have a lot of flyers in your local meta, then a Stalker is probably a good choice, or 3 of them as a squadron. But if you don't have a lot of them in your local meta, then it's probably not worth investing a lot of points in an anti-flyer vehicle. Now, that being said, too, Space Marines have the ability with their fast attack slot where they have flyers too, and flyers are very good at taking out other flyers. So most of the time, not always, Helldrakes aren't that. I mean, they're decent at it, but they're not great at it. So it depends on your meta again, and you may not need something that's anti-air. Then we get to the Land Raiders. For 250 points, you have just a regular Land Raider, which has twin-linked las cannons and twin-linked heavy bolter. And Power Machine Spirit, it's 14 all around, 4 hull points, Bliss skill 4. Can take 10 models. You can take a multi-multi for 10 points, and stuff from the Space Marine vehicle equipment list. Which I'm wondering if this edition you can take Dozer Blades, because Chaos can. Can you? didn't even think about that. Not that that's a super big game changer, but let's see. Yep, may not be taken by a Land Raider of any type. So never mind, you cannot take a Dozer Blade for Land Raiders still. I guess that's one thing that Loyalists can be bitter about with Chaos Space Marines, although I think the Chaos Space Marines have a lot more to be bitter about. The next one's the Land Raider Crusader, also 250 points. It has twin-linked assault cannon, twin-linked 2 hurricane bolters, and frag assault launchers, searchlight smoke launchers. So it comes with the frag assault launchers now, which is kind of good. So it kind of helps Terminators in there, that if they charge through difficult terrain, it doesn't count as being slowed down by it. I think that's a new addition. I don't remember them having that last time. It's kind of nice. They have a 16 model capacity, which is good, and may take a multi-melter for 10 points. The next Land Raider is the Redeemer, and that one has 2 Flamestorm cannons and a twin-linked assault cannon, frag assault launchers as well. And the regular one doesn't come with that. And 14 all around, Bliss skill 4 hull points. And this one has a 12 model capacity. I really don't get, they're all the same Land Raider and they all look the same. How does one suddenly have that much more transport capacity versus the other ones? I don't get it, to be honest with you, but it is what it is. Multi-melter for 10 points, and then you can take vehicles from the equipment list, vehicle equipment list as well. So that's the heavy support choice. I am going to cover the one Lord of War that's in here, and then we'll go to formations in the next video. The one Lord of War that's in here is Marneus Calgar. He's 275 points, and he is weapon skill 6, bullet skill 5, strength and toughness 4 wounds, initiative 5, and attacks 4, leadership 10, and 2+ save. He is, let's see, power sword, frag grenades, crack grenades, iron halo, orbital strike, they shall know no fear, chapter tactics, ultramarines, eternal warrior, independent character. I'm thinking it's just artificer armor is what I'm thinking. It doesn't say, but I'm guessing it's artificer armor. You can replace frag and crack grenades with the armor of Antilocus, which is let's see. This is Terminator suit that does not prevent sweeping advances and includes a teleport homer. I don't know if that's really worth it, to be honest with you. Let's see. And it looks like he comes with the Gauntlets of Ultramar. I was just trying to see, it doesn't say it in the war gear. And I was just trying to see if it comes with the armor or if it just comes with him no matter what. And it looks like it comes with him no matter what. They're basically strength times 2, AP 2, melee. So they're not unwieldy anymore. So Marneus goes at initiative 5 now, which is big. Let's see. And so it's a pair of them. So basically he can get an extra attack. So he'll have 5 attacks. They're not specialist weapons, so he can use his power sword if he wants to, although I don't know why you would, because strength times 2 at initiative would be far better than a power sword at strength 4. It also has a assault 2, strength 4, AP 2, 24-inch range, basically kind of storm bolter, but it's an AP 2 gun, which is good. So it's not a bad gun. If Marneus is your warlord, you can choose to enact an extra combat doctrine of any type once per game. When this combat doctrine is enacted, all Ultramarines in your forces, in your army, are affected. Not even just in the detachment, just all Ultramarines. If Marneus Calgar is your warlord, he can choose any warlord trait from the Space Marine warlord table he wants. So Marneus got a little better. He's a Lord of War now, though, so he eats up a Lord of War slot. It's not like Space Marines have that really to be competitively filled in. So I don't think that's a bad one. But depending on where you're playing in, if they're playing with the escalation rules, and it's still a little janky on how things work out, but I guess to be fair, if you're running their escalation rules, then you get extra bonus points or extra victory points for every 3 wounds or hull points you do to a Lord of War. Then Marneus Calgar is not only giving up Warlord if he's your Warlord, but he's also giving up a kill point plus an extra kill point because he has 4 wounds. So it's a big deal. It's something to think about if you do take him and your local group runs that way. Currently, there's been some debate in my group, but currently our FAQ committee voted on keeping that in place, so it does give those points. And to be fair, we left it for everybody, not just if you're a super heavy or gargantuan, because once again, I think when you start doing something like that, it's more comp because you don't know what the rules are intended to be. I'm not even sure if escalation is still supported in the FAQ, but are those rules still in effect? It's a little outdated because that was the end of, or the sorry, was that before? That was right before 6th edition came out. So it's before Lords of War were generally accepted, and so it was a kind of a way in 5th to kind of work them in there. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it was in 6th or 5th. Maybe it was in 6th. It might have been 6th. Actually, sorry, I think it was at the tail end of 6th. I apologize. But it was kind of a way to get Lords of War into the game and still give people incentive to play against it. I don't know how. Everybody has their personal beliefs. I personally believe that we're kind of at a point in this game, especially with Lords of War, that the escalation stuff, most of that book has been nullified because the D weapons, the catastrophic explosion, all of that stuff has been nullified, and it's been explained in the new 7th edition book. So I honestly think that book is kind of out of date for the most part, and so I just don't feel like using those rules is the best choice, but my opinion. Anyway, next episode we're going to do the formations and detachments, and we'll finish up and do final thoughts. And then, sooner than you know, the Dark Angels will be coming. So stay tuned and keep on.
Goodbye. 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 Bye-bye. Goodbye. See ya. Bye for now. Bye for now. Goodbye. I like bottoms.